Hello, hi, welcome to another video. My name is Valentine or at Color Me Val. And if you're new, welcome to these series. These are just kind of the short videos on my healing journey. Yeah, I'd like that's how I guess I've chosen to express myself at this particular time. So in the first couple of videos, if you haven't watched or if you're new here, this is basically a safe space, I want to say, where I explain or I try to say it out loud, because honestly, a problem shared is a problem half solved. So the more I talk about it, the less it hurts me, and the less it gives me nightmares and haunts me. So I am a survivor of gender-based violence, and the violence in question was mostly there was a lot of there was a lot of physical violence, yes, and there was also psychological and emotional damage as well. So now today backtrack a bit. I host a show on Y254 channel. It's called Y in the Morning. It runs from Monday to Friday from 7 till 10 in the morning. Now today's particular show, one of my co-hosts asked us on set if we've had our most traumatic experience in terms of being robbed. So nataka kuambia hii story alafu ndo to go back a little bit. Yes, so my particular story, as I was telling yesterday live, is kuna time I used to be a stage actor. So I was acting, ilikuwa Museum Hill. So we finished at Museum Hill, and it wasn't really at dark when I was leaving. Let's say, call it dusk. Like darkness is falling, but it's not completely there yet. But I remember it was drizzling. Not heavy rain, but rain I can walk comfortably around with an umbrella. So nimetoka Museum Hill, nimeenda kupiga lap, ndo naingia tao. Then I go meet the person I was going to see, alafu ndo tuende mahali tulikuwa tunaenda. So on my way, while I was walking down, I had a bag, like a backpack, and then my umbrella, and then my phone was in my pocket. So I take out my phone, and then I call the person. I'm like, ndo mimi, nataka kuingia tao, tupatane, alafu twende. So I hung up the phone. No sooner had I put it back in my pocket, then out of nowhere, this guy just comes. Alinipiga tisa. Kudipiga tisa means like he came and literally put his arm around my neck, and this person is suffocating me, but it didn't hit me. I was being suffocated. So I was like, what's all this? What is all this? And I hang around with a lot of boys. My brother and I used to go at it. And the time nilikuwa nafanya tizi flani that kind of involved test runs, like self-defense kind of situation, which is very awkward. Juu saa hiyo nafanywa hizo vitu, mi niko mbona wako na jokes hivi, like mbona haoni niko serious and there's somewhere I was going. So by the time I realized what was happening, now I'm sliding down unconscious on his leg, and then he takes my phone and takes my backpack. And then now that I'm coming to, somehow I'm regaining my senses, I try to hold his leg, and then it becomes a thing. So he runs away, he crosses the road. I cross the road after him, and then it's one way. So it's one way going this way, then one way going that way. So I cross, boop, 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 running in the rain. Now it's dark because these things have happened, and I don't know, street or time. There's a season where light is for like 5 seconds, and then night comes earlier than usual. So that's what had happened. So he jumps into a ditch, and then I say, hapa nikimfuata sirudi. Sitatoka hapa. So I was very emotional, and then I cried, and I was crying. Some guy on a motorcycle comes. He passes me. So I convince him, I cry. Then I convince him now to take me home. Then I explain, okay, we'll pay you when we get there. So then, of course, because now I cannot just go home empty-handed, I don't know where my mind was. Instead of just being glad that I'm okay, I go back and take my umbrella, and then I get on the bike and cry the whole way home. So that was the trauma I shared. So they both shared their own individual traumas. And that got me thinking today, what is trauma? Because nikijaribu kuambia mtu mwingine how gender-based violence has affected me, and it's something that happened so long ago, so long ago, when I was in my childhood, in my preteens, but it's so fresh in my mind, and it's very I want to say interesting now that I know what's happening to me. It's very interesting how something that has happened such a long time ago is still affecting me now as a grown-up. So a couple of stories I've told you, but I want to tell you in depth what they make me feel. When I get triggered, and it might look very normal, whatever is triggering me, but whenever I get triggered, the first thing I feel is I feel helpless. I feel like a child all over again. I feel, and then remember, my childhood was all about being beaten or being abused in one way or another. It takes me back to that place, to the point that I just want to freeze and I want to hide. Even in my big age, I want to cry. I want to cry. I want to just hide. And what is sickening me, or the motivation for this videos, I don't know if one or the other has to marry, but point ni like staki nimechoka, and these triggers, when I've started to realize the actual triggers, maybe I was just an angry person before, or I'm oversensitive. No, it's just triggers. And there's so many. So if I don't talk about them, then I will never see them for what they are. That's triggers. Si ati napenda kujam, ama napenda kufeel hivi, ama nasikianga tu woi all the time, or I just want to cry all the time. No, I'm being triggered. And now when I'm talking about it as much more, kuzungu kweli, as more, venye tu naiongelea, imegonga ukuta. Yes, as much as I'm talking about it, it makes me aware when I am being triggered, and how to deal with these triggers. Nanpata. So if, for example, I'm having a conversation with someone who is a stranger, na ameniambia kitu, and now I've been triggered. So my first, again, nasikia tu kwa akili melock. I don't have an answer for you. My body has now also locked. So either one, I cry, like just out there, inakanga very weird, like umeniambia tu kitu, suddenly nimeanza kulia, what are those? Or I have a self-defense kind of mechanism. Now I want to be angry, I want to take it out, I want to rebut. Kuna venye umeniambia na sijai like, sijajua ni trigger, but haijafanya ni feel vizuri. So I want also you to feel the same way. That's where the anger spills in. So you see that they're both very extreme. Either mwenyewe nijikute a shell of a person, then I start to cry, I start feeling vulnerable. Now, ata maybe this is the way someone talks. Oh, this particular stranger who has triggered me, maybe this is how they relate with people. Na watu washamzoea, but since hatujai kutana, na hatujai patana na hiyo opportunity ya kujua even though mtu ongea, ama tujazoeana hivyo, him or her, what they deem as normal, to me, is also normal to me, that it feels like it's abuse all over again. Tukana, maybe they even haven't raised their voice. It's just a certain type of body language or certain type of words that just take me to a place and I bust. Nivo. It's nikatu unajua kichapo ina come, and if I close my eyes, if I give myself time to close my eyes, I can honestly just feel now makofi ndo hizo, or maybe ni look flani babangu alikuwa nayo kabla nipige, ama ni kitu tu alikuwa nasema kabla aanze kunitukana, or even because it spilled over to my teachers. Kuchapa hiyo time haikuwa inaonekana kama abuse, but if I'm being beaten at home and I'm being beaten at school, like everyone is just beating me, unaona kuna ka cycle flani that's not very healthy, So anything that looks like it's going to be about to go down, I just and then it's very hard for me to explain to people who are around me, people maybe who have just discovered, like wamenijua for some time, but they've never known that I am a survivor of gender-based violence, because like I said before, and I'm okay saying it again, I was never allowed to talk about it. In fact, ukiongelea pia ni kichapo, because hizi ni vitu za nyumbani na ufai kuambia mtu. So trauma, and I want you to understand very clearly that unaona leo your topic ya trauma imetoka juu nimeuliza story na kuibiwa. Again, violent. Ni sawa. trauma yangu pia mostly ni EGBV, physical, emotional and psychological by the way is ni mtu anakaa tu anakwambia by the way you ain't worth nothing honestly. And I've had superiors or people in places of work who have treated me like that, like ukweli, like wana straight talking to me down na sijawakosea ukumbuke juu hata babangu si ati nilikuwa namkosea ndio anipige hivyo ni kama mimi ni mwizi. But that trauma, that it's just so it takes almost the I'm trying to explain it best with words, but all I can do is feel. It takes the wind out of me such that naweza kuwa nimeamka very composed. I've done everything I need to do that morning, maybe even had a little bit of time to, get ready for the day. Hata kaa ni kuomba ama stretch ndo nisikie fiti. Now, immediately they take me into that space, or I enter that space because I have allowed it, remember, but because I didn't understand it was a trigger. I want you to understand trauma is not just about physical violence. Kuna iyo psychological, kuna emotional. Trauma could be also being in an accident. Yes. Trauma can just... And it's not just family members or co-workers or it could also be friends. It could be people you care about. Trauma is just something basically that can trigger you into a sense of unwellness. Unanipata? Yeah, so trauma is it's just not nice. It's not nice. But the point of you can't erase trauma. You cannot erase trauma at all. But what you can do is notice that, or acknowledge that you're traumatized, and notice the things that trigger you to remember this particular version of trauma. You understand me? So now once you see your triggers, you can feel and again, vitu zingine tulikuwa tumeongelea last time ilikuwa grounding techniques, and one of the grounding techniques is, or rather first, a grounding technique is something that you do when you find yourself in that whirlwind of emotions to bring you back to the present. And that's like touching things like kind of bairo or ishike, or doing this to your fist and releasing, just to bring you back to the present, to get you out of your head. Yes, trauma just puts you in your headspace, and it's not a very pleasant headspace. And now once you're there, if you remain there, all the things that you do after that now will just be some type of way. That's doing explain at it, because you can be it can spill into either very intense sadness or very intense anger and everything in between. So you've been triggered, and now even someone who loves you or who is trying to be there for you or connect with you, utaki umejam, and you're going to drive them away because can be really intense. Trauma, I keep saying, is not something you can erase, but all you can do is hold on to the knowledge, acknowledge you're being, see, if you didn't know you're being triggered, you will know by your feelings. Your body will tell you, utaanza kusikia joto, baridi, ama utarudi utakuwa na flashback, ama utakuwa tu na sudden feeling that you did not have there before, and now enter the grounding techniques. So just even do this to your palms, like rub them. Do something to anchor yourself back to the present. It's okay to be traumatized. I think everyone has experienced some form of trauma. I just think I should learn how to understand what triggers me. There's some things I can stay away from because there's some personalities no. But what happens if it's a chance encounter, or what happens if it's a personality I have to keep encountering? Then I must be master of my own emotions. And that's not an easy thing to do. Also, it takes some time. But on this journey, on this healing journey, I'm learning my triggers. I am learning my triggers. Yes. And honestly, it is a breakthrough enough that I understand that I've been traumatized, and I understand that it's been inside, so it's been suppressed for so long. getting it all of it is going to take me some time, and learning these triggers that have become so many that either I've been avoiding or wanajiambia spendi conflict, kumbe I don't want to be triggered. That's the thing, because you cannot avoid conflict in this life. That's part of boundaries. Kama staki, you know, and that's healthy, and it's healthy setting out boundaries. But now see, I cannot do something like that because ati staki conflict. No, ni vile staki tu kwa triggered, and I need to just learn to be okay with learning how to deal with my triggers, not being so scared of them, because who wants to feel helpless all the time? Nata kumbuka venye alikuwa mtoto mdogo na alikuwa anaenda kulima na ulikuwa nasikia dunia inaisha, and honestly I am not exaggerating, ilikuwa nasikia kaa dunia inaisha nikipigwa. So in conclusion, my camera did a thing there, so if this is a different kind of frame, please forgive me. We had to take a short commercial break. In conclusion, please do reach out if you have a trauma you'd like to share with me, or if you have the same kind of trauma as me. It's okay to talk it out. It is okay to talk it out. I would like to think of myself as a safe space, because I am all out here with mine. You can do the same with yours. If it's not comfortable for you, I suggest you reach out to someone else. But again, please let it be a mature and a safe space. Because what happens when you share, again, I think everyone has been through some kind of trauma. But there's some traumas that, you know, have been innate. They've been inside longer than most. So they look or feel much bigger than, I want to say, other people. Si ati watu kuna watu wako na mashida kubwa kuliko wengine. It's just the way they've been handled or not handled. It's the length of time that they've been in there. That you could still be in the phase of trauma, like kuna kitu na traumatize bado. That's also a factor. But please do reach out. Don't do this alone. Don't do this alone. You are never alone. Now, don't ever give up. Don't give up. Don't give up on you. You deserve to be happy. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve gentleness. And it would be wonderful if you started giving that to yourself first before you expected it from someone else. Yeah, be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. Speak words of kindness, like you're doing okay, Val. Yeah, we didn't do this exactly how we wanted it. Maybe I don't look the way I want right now, but you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're outgoing, you're out there, you're doing your best. Yes. I think I'm done with it. But thank you for listening. Please do subscribe at Kalamival on everything, and tell a friend, and most importantly, reach out. Okay, speak. It's gonna be okay. Nawapenda sana 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 sana. Love you. All right, bye. See you in the next video.